Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Shade of Truth series. And today we are going to be discussing the outcomes of what it is after you take that U-turn, which we discussed in the last podcast, which is istighfar, right? And so the number one outcome is serenity, peace, tranquility. That is such an essential gift, an essential element in the human body that is like priceless, and that every single human being, even a millionaire, will be ready to give up all his money, all his gold, all his property for this one thing called peace of the heart. And everything in nature that we see around us desires and comes back to stability, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that in Surah Fatah, هو الذي أنزل السكينة في قلوب المؤمنين. So Allah is the one who sends down serenity inside the heart of al-mu'minin, the believers. So the number one thing that we get from this is that serenity, peace, is not a product of this dunya. It's not something that is going to be found in a cinema hall, in a parties, in concerts, in a bakery shop, or anywhere. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, هو الذي أنزل السكينة. He sends down serenity. So anything that is sent down, it means that it can only come from above. Because sending down is like coming from above to the ground. So it means that it comes from above. And when it comes from above, so it's obvious that who has it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has it, right? And what is the container of sakina? That's the heart, right? The Prophet ﷺ said that there's one flesh inside the body. If that is okay, everything is okay, and that flesh or that piece of meat is the heart. So it's all about the heart. Everything pivots around the heart. Why? Because only Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi gives us beautiful statements that لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. Yani there is nothing of value or benefit on the day of judgment except for a person who comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with qalbun salim, a heart, a sound heart. So it's all about putting that heart to its default position, and that is submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when you start following the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you do things according to the principles set in the Quran, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send down serenity inside the heart of the believer. So we should always keep the heart, we should be in an activity to keep the heart clean so that it is ready to receive that sakina from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ibn Kathir writes a very beautiful statement regarding the tranquility of the heart sakina. He writes, grace, what is sakina? It is grace into the hearts of the believer. Such a beautiful statement. And so the first thing is that you are going to be tranquil, and the other thing that what submission does, what coming back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does, is that it removes fear and sadness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, ألا إن أولياء الله لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. They do not have, number one, khawf, and number two, sadness, يحزنون. And these two emotions are primary emotions in psychiatry, right? And emotions the heart is a container of a striata of emotions. Like it's a storm of, if we do not balance them, then there's a storm of emotion inside a man. And what this fear and sadness does is that it's a distractor, and it makes your decision making ability weak. And this inside state is depicted in actions, and you are not directed, you are always confused, and life is not defined. But once you submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you set the principles of the Quran in your life with firmness, then you know how to navigate through every situation. You know what lessons to draw, and you draw the right lessons from every situation. Why? Because you put on the correct lens, and you're viewing this world through the correct lens. And once you follow whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done, then there is no fear or sadness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, I repeat that, inna awliya Allahi wa la khawfun alayhim wa la hum yahzanun. They do not have fear and sadness. So I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down serenity inside our hearts and removes a sadness and fear from our heart. Ma as-salama.